We do have a quorum present, so we'll go ahead and proceed with the meeting. The first thing on here is the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, carries, passed. Okay, next thing is delegations, and I don't see anybody in the audience. Unless Stacy has something to say. All right, the next thing on here is our superintendent evaluation. And on there, what we've done is we took everybody's scores. The highest possible score was 900. And what we have got on here is a score of 737 out of 900. So I think that indicates that the superintendent must be doing a pretty good job. There's room for improvement, but there's always room with all of us, correct? All right, well, I've got those copies all on YouTube later, you can look over them. All right, next thing is a recommendation of revise the policy. Troy, you want to
Yeah, sure.
make a comment
A
on
few
that?
meetings ago, I had provided you guys documentation, it's included in your packet, again, about a position that the state legislature was looking at as far as passing a law that would have families the option of opting out of testing. And actually Lori Butler, I think in the March meeting, or maybe the one preceding, had mentioned that when she came to visit during that board meeting. Taking that in consideration, we do have, and again, I included the rationale, there are new testing cycles that the students are going to be exposed to next year called TN Ready. Instead of just one end-of-year test, you're going to have a test after 120 days and another end-of-year test. Also, an initiative called Response to Instruction and Intervention, RTI squared. It's been mandated for lower grades through 5th grade. Next year, next school year, it will include the junior high grades, so 6th through 8th. What they have is universal screening where every student gets tested to determine where there's any gaps in literacy or numeracy basics. And then through the course of the year, those students get extra help, support to foundationally build them up to where they can compete and perform in the classroom regularly. But with that, there's additional progress monitoring done, additional testing is part of it that is mandated. Then also you see that there are other state required tests called the NAEP, that National Assessment for Educational Progress. Last year, our 4th or 5th grade grade levels had to perform that test, and that's a national test. And then there's also the potential for it's called a PISA test, which is an international test. Those are mandated if you're chosen. You have to take it if you're chosen, and it's, again, like I said last year, our 4th or 5th grade grade level had to take the NAEP. We also internally are going to be using formative assessments during the course of the year, and that's, again, focusing on what the student's going to be expected to know. Then we've got to have some measure of assessment to determine if they're learning it, and then how do we respond after that. So anyway, saying that there's still going to be significant number of tests, and what I'm realizing, and I, again, in conversation with supervisors and principals, that week preceding the midterm and the week preceding the final exam, those dates, for dads and moms that know this, those dates are focused on just review. And we need that time instead to prepare for that TN Ready first assessment, especially around Christmas time. It's going to be falling at the end of January, 1st of February. So what I propose is that we do away with what we perceive as a midterm final and final exam. These are semester exams that we create, and utilize that time to focus on the assessments that we're already going to be doing based on the state requirements, also the RTI squared, and then our own personal teacher design formative assessment. We're still assessing our kids, but that has been that's an old, outdated program that we need to capture that time that has been spent for just review back to preparing for better state assessments. That's my proposal. And then with that, I can go on to the second page, reflects where that would have to affect board policies 4.6 6.60 and also for policy 6.20, because that would impact our exemption policies, and that would also impact the breakdown as far as how much those semester exams would count toward the report cards.
Do you think we ought to try this for a year, or a couple of years, and just see how it is, and then, or go with it, or just totally?
Well, it is just another test to do. I mean, at this point in time, it absolutely means, well, I say it doesn't mean anything, but it means very little compared to the grand scheme of things. Also, I didn't even mention the ACT. See, we're still doing ACT also.
It's more of a tradition than anything.
It's tradition, it is.
From a parent's perspective.
That is impacting our school days and instructional time. And I think adversely impacted.
Well, when we had these originally, we didn't have all these
We
didn't have
mandatory
some
tests that we were having to take.
I hated it, me kind
Well,
of.
what do we need to then, do you think you could just change the policies and then bring the policies and we can approve a new policy?
Sure.
And, just to be sure that everything, I guess, is, well, I don't think there's anything legal with it. I was gonna say, have TSBA look at it and be sure, but.
Well, there's no legal standing
That's
with
what
these
I'm saying.
midterms and finals, because again, we're not exempting ourselves from state mandated tests.
So if we made the motion and approved to do away with those, it can be done away with on a local level.
Yes.
I would make a motion, we revise the testing policy to the superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion second, we go with Troy's recommendation to change the testing policy and, okay. Have a motion second, any other discussion? Okay, I've got a question. Or you're gonna rewrite the policies and then we'll just approve, we can approve
What do you-
them at the next meeting. But like this, we'll go ahead and do away with them. All right, any other discussion?
We're
Any
not
questions?
approving that right now.
Well,
What, we're approving it, but it has to be put in a policy to put in.
I
yeah,
know that.
well, that's what I'm saying, it would, at the next meeting, we could just change the policy, or I guess, I see what you're saying, I guess we could be considered approving the policy
That's what-
this time.
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were saying just do.
I will provide you guys
Copy.
what the revisions will look like
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Right, that sounds good. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, then we will do away with those tests.
I'd like to have that now.
Okay, Troy, on the next thing, on the new one, it's a little bit different, where we were going to, have the K-9.
Yes. At the meeting, 2 meetings ago, well, when we first talked about the K-9 detection service, again, it was from January to May. There were 5 dates where we're paying $500. And I believe Dwight's the one that made the motion, let's review that at the end of the school year to see if we want to continue doing it. I've had a conversation with the principals at the high school, Ricky, and I had a conversation also with the school resource officer, being Justin, for the second term resource officer. I have not had a conversation again with Celinda, but Celinda was the strongest advocate for this to begin with. But based on those other 2 gentlemen, they want to continue this service.
Everything's positive.
It was very positive. It is a very preventative measure. The students were very attentive to the fact that it is a heightened level of accountability. Now, they had to tweak it a little bit because some children were being identified as potential possessors of things that they shouldn't have, but it ended up being nothing more than hand sanitizer. But that has been corrected after the first time, and it didn't happen again the second time or further. So, the price that he gave us was an introductory price, but he's offered to continue that price, the same one which was $500 then, and now it's $500 for 10 full sessions. We can add more to it, but I'm satisfied to say that 10 sessions will sufficiently measure that. No, it's 500.
Oh, okay. I was just going to live.
Okay, that's just an error on our part.
Oh, okay.
So it's even better than what you thought.
Oh, it is, we're saving money.
Saving money already.
Stacy's taking care of us someday, we're saving that money. All right, do I have a motion to approve the 10 days?
I make a motion, we approve
Okay. Have a motion,
it. Second.
a second. All right, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so that will be approved for 10 days. All right, Troy, the number 6
one, I can't remember which one specifically, I had it in front of me earlier, that with purchases, and this is a requirement that we have to do for our food service, the software that is used to process the financial side of things, the service that we have right now, or finish the year out, are no longer providing that service. There are optional services that we could have bidded out, but we have chosen to go with local government for two reasons. One reason is because two of the schools are already using local government, so it would not be a new system to learn. It would get us all aligned here in the office, also between food service and the front desk, who is already on local government. But also that if you use local government, it doesn't require a bid. So there's no bidding that is necessary. And the price of that is 37, mine is right, 37,284 is what the cost will be.
That's for all schools.
For all schools, and that's already been budgeted. So there's no added monies requested, it's already been budgeted. But we realize that because of this this situation, that we had to have your approval before doing it.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the food service software. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed no. Okay, that carries. The next thing it looks like is the calendar dates for 2015-2016 meetings. It looks like we've got 8/20/2015, 9/25, 11/19, and then we go to 1/7/2016, 3/17/2016, and 4/21/2016, and 6/23/2016. These
6/23. Mine says 6/16.
It did originally, the new,
Where's my new one?
Yeah, there was a new one there, that's what I'm looking at.
oh, because of and the reason why we adjusted that lately is because we're trying to get as close as we can to the end of the fiscal year, because we have budget amendments that come up that you guys have to hear of and approve or disapprove. So that's why we moved that last meeting as close as we could prior to the county commission meeting. So that's for the adjustment. Everything else reflects dates that coincide with this year's.
Well, I would like to add too that I know you guys know we always try to be flexible, and if somebody has to change for a date, we can always maybe move. They don't have to be exactly these dates. This is what we were planning on, but if something comes up, somebody's out of town, somebody can't be there, we'll try to work with everybody.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
I'd have a motion second to approve the dates. Any other discussion?
Are these all Thursday?
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, any other discussion? All right. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. All right, carries. The next thing is just, looks like we may have to talk about a couple of updates, and Troy, I'll let you just kind of cover what's coming up for bids and what will be opening bids on.
I have not had a conversation with Kevin Basham since my vacation. We did go to those schools that are mentioned, and we did walk the campuses to see where would be the most advantageous places to put cameras. What he's going to do is work up a sheet or a proposal per school, and then we can make the decision on how we want to couple that for bidding after. Right now, our focus is going to be those 4 schools, because the junior high and the high school have the most current technology. And I'd rather just, as I said in the past, phase that in. So initially, I want to see how this is going to look among these 4 campuses. The ones who have no devices at all would be Jackson Creek. The one who has the most minimal would be Westchester. So those 2 would be probably earmarked first, with the middle school and Eastchester following. But I don't know exactly yet what those costs would be. On May the 29th, we did have a bid opening for a new utility tractor. We consider that an emergency purchase because the utility tractor that we have, the gears get stripping out. So we had to have that service to remove some, like the well house, which is in the process, and also there's a shed between Discovery Learning and Eastchester Edition. Back in the little wooded area, there's a shed there that needs to be removed. just so he can be competitive with it. And then we have some new hires, as you see. At the time, as of today, two of those three were named. I don't know about Brittany. I knew of her on Monday, but we still have a few positions for math teachers at the high school, and also one more position for English at the high school. And then again, you see below that still open is a pre-K teacher and K-3 positions. And then it goes to the next page. Still just a few more to fill in. But again, personally, I'm most proud of the building principal for the junior high. He is going to be an exceptional hire. He comes with a lot of recommendations and a lot of experience. And the sky's the limit for that campus now with his leadership. I really believe.
Any comments? Questions?
What about the fence at Jack's Creek?
Britt has been in contact. I gave him that task while I was on vacation. And we talked again today. The company that provided the fencing has not called him back. For some reason, he's made 2 reaches. He reached out twice to them through phone and had scheduled an appointment for them Friday, I think 2 weeks ago, and they didn't show up. He tried again this morning and didn't reach them. We did get another fencing company to offer their quotes, but their quote to bring closure to it was about half the cost of what it was to do the whole section. And then I asked them to also provide a quote to enclose the band tower that's on the sportsplex, and that was just under $3,000. So I told Brett that was a little high right now, and we'll keep shopping. But we're gonna still try to reach. I don't know if Ram Fencing, that's the company we went with. I don't know if they're just trying to back off and get away from it. But we're gonna continue to pursue that.
I was talking to Dwayne again. He said we need to come to them on a request at the next county commission meeting.
Well, that'll be the 29th.
Yeah, that's the reason I wanted. I knew it was coming up. If anybody's around, I might want to be there to the meeting. Jerry said if we do get some gravel in there, you know, so we have time to sort of set up.
Sure.
It's not long to football season.
No, it's not. 1st of August.
Anything else?
I saw we had a teacher that made the governor's advisory.
Well, and then there's the same teacher, Kathy White from Westchester, 3rd grade teacher. Not only that, but she's one of the top, she's in the running for teacher of the year also, one of the top 9 in the state.
Sent her a letter, congratulations on being selected by
Yeah.
the governor's advisory team.
Will do. Yeah, we're very proud of that. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins it all. She's very good.
It looked good to go down to Leeds and see Chester County on that.
It is. All right, if we don't have anything else at this time, the board's going to go into executive session. And I guess I'll have to ask Mary and Stacy to vacate the building.
Sarah.
And Sarah.
And Sarah too, and the camera, and